G'day guys, how you going? Long time no see. Got a couple of projects to get going today, but the first one I'm going to look at is just putting in some concrete pavers. As you can see here, we've got the concrete in and we're using it now. So the carport guy's going to put the carport in this area here a couple of days time. But in the meantime, we've got this little gap here between where the concrete ends and the old concrete over there begins. And so I thought what we'd do is we'd reuse the concrete pavers that were actually underneath the gas bottles originally, but of course they're on the new concrete, so we don't need those underneath there anymore. So I thought we'd put these here to make it a bit easier to walk through. So what I'm going to do is recess them down so the top of them is level with the existing concrete on that side and this side. So we'll get a shovel and get our level out and we'll get started. Alrighty. First thing we'll do is we'll move these out of the way. I just had them in there before just to see what the positioning of them would look like. So happy with the positioning, so I'll move them out of the way and start getting some levels sorted. This one's got a crack through here. I don't know whether this is going to last very long. I don't think it's all the way through though. Alright. Alright, so what we're going to have to do is we've got this harder rubbly stuff underneath there, so what we might do is excavate that and put that behind the retaining wall and then go from there. Dark rain, how rude. sorts of shit in there. See how we go on there. Needs to come out a bit more on that side, but I think our depth is good. Our depth is fine. In a bit. Goodness. All right. I think that's good. Let's check the levels. Not bad. Not bad at all. Certainly good enough for a step. All right. So what we'll do is we'll shovel that out. Get rid of this dirty stuff. And now I'll make some space for the second one, but we'll get rid of this wheelbarrow load first and then start again. The old rain's starting to come down a bit now. Starting to come down now. Don't need to dig down too much. This is quite high. See how we go with that. I can tell visually it's a little bit wonky. Needs to go up this side. Yeah. Yeah, just needs to go up in that corner. How are we looking? Spot on, my son. Yep, beautiful. All right. Broom to do the rest of that. Very nice. There we go. Didn't take long. Yep, nice and stable. not rocking, which is always annoying. So they're not rocking, nice and stable. They'll settle down over time anyway. May have to lift them and check them, but that looks a lot better, and it's recycling those old concrete pavers that were under the gas bottles that otherwise would have ended up in the hard rubbish or somewhere else. So it's in keeping with the rural aesthetic. Alrighty, got a few more other things to go today, so can't hang around here admiring our good work. We've got other things to do. Now the rain's starting to come down again. Right, next job is to replace some of the natives that have died. This is the second round of natives that have died, and quite frankly, I was probably expecting it, if I'm honest. These ones here, did a previous video when I was planting those, they didn't look too robust, and the root system wasn't all that fantastic when I planted them. Needless to say, they've died. So there's 3 here, so there's 1, 2, 3. I'm going to replace those with some thriptamines, which is these. Beautiful plants, have some beautiful pinky white flowers in the winter. They're a winter flowering plant, Australian native. So I'm going to replace those with that. And there's another death over here, which is one of the correas. This is one of the original ones. This one died as a result of the flooding events. It hung on for a while, thought it was going to be okay, but no, it's finally given up the ghost. So we're replacing that with a coastal rosemary or Westringia. And there's another grevillea over here that's given up the ghost too. No idea why. Again, probably too wet. So I'm going to rip that out and replace that with a coastal rosemary as well. So the tubes that I'm planting are these ones here. So this is the thriptamine. That's the thriptamine there. Beautiful plant, grows into a big bush, probably maybe 1 metre high, 2 metre spread. Bird attracting, insect attracting. And this is the Westringia or coastal rosemary. Probably gets to about maybe 1/2 metre, 3/4 metre high, and again maybe 1/2 to 3/4 wide. Nice slope. You can actually trim this into a hedge. I've done that before at other properties. Very good hedging plant. Again, Australian native. So they're in tube stock. Now we got these tubes from the local council nursery, the Robin Davies Nursery for Wollondilly Council, and every quarter, if you're a resident of the council, you get 5 free tubes. So yesterday we went along and got our 5 free tube stocks. So that's what we're planting today. So the plants didn't cost us anything. So the only thing today is costing us is time. So let's get stuck into it and replace these bad boys. Now what I have noticed planting these thriptamines is that they're a little bit root bound. Which is not the end of the world. Alright, but you can see here on the bottom of the tube all the roots are poking out. That's not ideal, alright, because it means they've reached the maximum of the tube quite some time ago. In fact, here there's a nick in the side of the tube and some roots are starting to pop out there, so that's not ideal. To get these out, you just give them a little squeeze, a little love squeeze, and then pull it out. And as you can see, there's quite a lot of roots down the side there. Probably a little bit too far gone, really. These should have been planted probably 4 weeks ago, a month ago, I would say. These are probably pushing the friendship a little bit, but we'll see how we go. So I've put some fertilizer in the bottom of the hole, whack them in, and just collapse the dirt around it.
don't be afraid, especially when they're this root bound, don't be afraid to be a bit rough with them. You can really jam them in. And we'll put the tree guard back on that one. Trickety-boo. So this is the first coastal rosemaries that I'm planting, and I would argue this is probably too far gone as well. You can see on the bottom there the roots poking through. Again, probably should have been planted about 4 weeks ago, but we'll give it a go. Let's have a look at what the root system's like when we take it out of the tube. There we go. So as you can see, not as bad as the thryptomene, not as bad at all. So I'll take back what I said. These are probably about right. Probably could have gone a week ago, but we wouldn't want to leave these any longer. You certainly wouldn't leave them in the tubes for another 4 weeks. Definitely not. These are ready to go. So these are coastal rosemary or Westringia. They get beautiful little, depending on the variety, sometimes they're purple, sometimes they're white flowers. Again, these are summer flowering, so we won't see any colour from these for the next couple of months. Just get rid of those weeds that are in there. We don't need those competing for our love and affection. Tree guard back on. Have to do this. We've had lots and lots of rabbits, goddamn rabbits around the place, and a lot of the other trees, even though they've had tree guards on, anything that pops out of the top of the tree guard has been had a bit of a nibble. So there we go. All right, we'll go and do the other one and see what that one's like. So this one again has got roots poking out the bottom. So we'll see what it's like when we take the tube off. Just got to be a bit gentle with these because these are not as robust as the thryptomene when they're this old. There we go. Yeah. So that one's a little bit more farther gone than the previous one that we just planted. You can still see some potting mix in there, so it's not ridiculously good too far gone, but this needs to be planted now. Certainly wouldn't be waiting another 4 weeks on this one either, so let's whack this in. And you may wonder, well, what's the big deal if they're a bit root bound? They can get root diseases, and it can actually weaken the plant and mean it doesn't grow as quickly. Obviously when you plant a plant you'd like it to grow quickly so you can see the benefits and the results as soon as possible. And if the roots are all matted and tangled together, it has trouble getting the nutrients because it's not in soil, it's in amongst other roots. It can't feed off itself, so to speak, so that's the issue with that one. Alright. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll give them all a good drink with the old sea salt, and we'll follow that up again in a week's time. Supposed to be a nice week weather-wise this week as far as not getting too much rain, so that shouldn't be an issue for us, hopefully. While I've got you out here, I'll show you what the builders did. I showed you the patio, or the veranda, but I don't think I've shown you this little pergola over here. Yeah, so they whacked this together as well. Again, it's powder coated steel, colourblind. There we go. Obviously not for weatherproof or anything, just to make it look nice. Yeah, and eventually I'll trim this hedge so it's in line with that post and everything looks hunky-dory. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Got a few other things on the go coming up. Obviously the carport's being done this week, so I'll give you an update on each stage of that. And then what else we got? I've got to backfill around the retaining wall and do a bit of work around the retaining wall, the new one that got put in, and the usual bits and pieces. Alright, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss one, and as always, stay safe. See you guys.